So we've got a new item type, the offhand item, that goes in your right hand, and right click now, instead of dropping what's in your left hand, it uses whatever item is in your right hand, which in this case is a spell book, the kinesis spell, which, as you can see, is a lot like the wand of kinesis. You can't really throw stuff, but you can grab stuff, it kind of crushes it, and then when you release it, it explodes, which is good for making monsters hit each other. And also, if you are tired of getting hit in the face with bones, you can collect them like this and then slurp them up, which is really nice. We have the copy weapon spell, which multiplies your weapon a bunch. It multiplies the velocity of your weapon and clones it. Ooh, how convenient. And that makes it really good for throwing, because all you have to do is like walk forward and it'll throw, or you can swing it with left click and then throw it, which is hard to aim but does an insane amount of damage because these things fly really fast. Besides that, we've got the meteor spell, which, as you can see, summons a big old meteor. You can sort of steer it around with just by looking, and whatever momentum it has when you release the spell will be multiplied like you're throwing it. And you can charge it up different amounts. You can have little tiny ones, or you can have really big ones, and if you throw them super hard, the explosion radius is drastically increased, which is pretty insane. It's really changing how I'm looking at future boss fights. Because we haven't had a boss that you really have to fly around for, so we'll see about that. And then the last spell is Black Hole, or Super Dense Juice Pellet. I'm not really sure yet. Or Anti-Juice. I'm still figuring out what juice is. It's everything. So, like, I guess what I don't know is what antimatter is. But it creates this big old ball that has a gravity field around it, and whatever things it attracts, it also damages. And it sticks to them, which is kind of funny. You can charge up a real big one, like that one I did before, or you can shoot a bunch of little ones and they orbit like particles, which is just... I'm so glad this is a physics game, because I get to do stuff like this. It's just awesome. Those are the only 4 spells we have right now. As you can see, you can use them at the same time as weapons, which is OP, and I'm gonna have to like buff all the monsters to take care of this, or like put more challenges in the game somehow in a way that doesn't make it too hard for inexperienced players at the same time. We have Hotkeys, which, let me just get somewhere safe. Oops. You just hover over whatever item you want, you push whatever button you want, and it can be any button. It can be something really stupid, like Alt, well, not Alt F4, but you could have Alt and F4 on another one, and then, accidentally uninstall or something. What else? Yeah, so there's this new item type. I just figured out the code to make it save, and it's actually not just the offhand item type. I can make any item now. So you might be wondering, like, what's with this stupid looking pill thing? It's actually pants. I got some stupid pants. They don't do anything besides make the game rated T for teen. But also I'm not putting these stupid things in the game yet. But pretty soon I can start working on armor. I know like shoulder pads would be pretty cool. We already have helmets, some little boots, some gloves, shirt. Flexible clothing I'm not going to get into quite yet because I think that'll be difficult. Maybe it won't be, but I don't know. I don't know about that. We will see. So that's pretty much it. I probably introduced a bunch of bugs to the game. We're gonna test it pretty soon, and then once I get rid of all those, the update will be out, and then I can move on to making more spells. It's actually really easy to make spells. Like, I made all of these in 1 or 2 days, just for fun. The hard part was reworking the equipment system to make sense. Besides that, some other things I did. I made the world a bit prettier, or less ugly actually. It was very rainbowy, the ground was, and that was difficult to look at for long periods of time. It was really pretty at first glance, but really annoying later. And I realized recently that the game was too noisy, so I reduced the rainbowiness of the ground to a much larger scale, at least for the main biome. And I darkened the road and stuff. And I increased the monster frequency a lot. I didn't increase the number of monsters, but I changed the spawning function so that they will spawn a lot closer to you, but out of sight, or at least they try to be out of sight. If you're moving fast, they predict what zone you're going to, and they try to spawn like ahead of you. And if you're not moving, there'll be a couple that spawn right behind you, not too close, but out of your line of sight. So you shouldn't have to wait too long for dudes to creep up on you while you're flying around, and the whole world should feel a lot more populous, which I'm eager to push into the public realm because I think the current version is pretty barren. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm looking forward to working on more spells. Oh, the spell crafting system is the last bit I should probably talk about. There isn't one, but eventually. For now I'm just making simple spells, but eventually what's going to happen, I think, is you can right-click a book to open it, and it'll open an inventory window over here. Oh god. And that inventory window will be full of magical symbols like fire projectile, or I think there will be basic symbols for each spell, and then there will be modifier symbols like projectile velocity, split projectiles, do lightning damage instead, cast this when you take damage, cast, I don't know, it'll be something crazy. The idea is to rip off of games like Noita and Path of Exile in order to make a craftable spell system so that there will be a lot more variety for people to mess with. In the meantime, though, I just want to work on simple spells. I want to get some summoning spells in here, like raise a skeleton, I think would be interesting. If you kill something. Okay, you get to live. What I can do is take all the limbs and put little bones in there, and then I could like auto-detect the chest and the head and put a rib cage and a skull there, so that you can raise skeletons from corpses. And I think that would be awesome. Some general spells like teleport, shrink, shapeshift. If you could turn yourself into a rubber ball and bounce it around, or a marble, like one of those marble games, and just roll around the hills and like crush monsters, that would be really cool. Some lightning and ice spells. We have a pretty good... Whoops. Where's the flamethrower? We have a pretty good fire system right now. I changed it with this update. I made the flames prettier. So next I'd like to work on an ice system and a lightning system, where if you hit something with a lot of cold damage, its joints get dampened, so it's harder for it to move, and then it eventually freezes solid and gets encased in ice, and you can maybe shatter it, I don't really know. And a lightning system would consist of some particles of some kind, I don't really know, and they would bounce between creatures. That's gonna take some experimentation, but yeah. So anyways, to sum it all up, we got some new items. Besides these pants, we got these grimoires with the spells in them. We got spells we can cast while carrying weapons. We have hotkeys finally, which is just so nice. And yeah, that's it. Have a good day. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Bye-bye.